Otro día, otra semana, después de lo que es lo que se jugó el fin de semana, la Premier. It's another week after another weekend of pure football. And like Patrick Evra says, I love this game. The season is coming to its final stage in the Premier League. The Premier League that is on Matchday 24. We see a Premier League where Arsenal takes a gap and extends it to 6 points. Manchester City gets held back. Liverpool wins comfortably. Man United gives another Fergie time win. Aston Villa gets shot 1-0. Bournemouth wins against bottom table Wolves. Chelsea that flips the game to their favor after having a first inconsistent half. And in the second half, Chelsea flips it. But we see some action in this Premier League. We see the first place team opening a gap, second place team being held back by Tottenham. But this Premier League sees action this past weekend. Pero esto es el fútbol. Y para esos que están conmigo, esto es pase ambidiestro. Ambidextrous pass. Fútbol honestamente. Soccer, football honestly. Traemos otro resumen. We bring another summary of what happened in Matchday 24 of the Prem. Otro resumen de lo que es de la Premier League, jornada 24. Ya estamos a un poco más de mediados de lo que es la temporada. Hay equipos que están consistentes, equipos que están inconsistentes, equipos que se ven como los que llevarán estas ligas, pero todavía está mucho por delante, mucho que dar, mucho por qué jugar. Aunque hay equipos que tienen su ventaja en the Prem, we have Arsenal that has a 6-point gap. Pero vamos a comenzar como siempre con la Premier. We're going to start with the Prem like always. We're going to start with the Premier League that saw action. Some teams held back. Some teams get a gap. Some teams keep performing to get themselves in those champions positions. And some teams keep staying in the mid-table or stuck at the bottom of the table. In that case, Wolves, who's having a hard time at the bottom of the table. Some teams that don't see wins, 15 games ongoing without a win, 13 games ongoing without a win. But this is the Prem. This Prem brings action every weekend, brings surprises every weekend. And Arsenal holds the Prem at the moment at the top with 6-point gap over Manchester City. This Arsenal has been able to hold at least a 5-point gap, 4-point gap, but they had a 7-point gap and they lost it. Now they get back to 6-point gap. How long can they keep this gap? How consistent can this Arsenal stay to keep the gap, to hold that 6-point gap that before it was 7? But thanks to Tottenham, Arsenal is able to keep a gap. Manchester City gets held back on a tie. But this is the Prem. Anything can happen in the Premier League. We are going on to a Premier League that is on match day 24. A Premier League that starts with a game that ended up in a tie. Brighton against Everton. We have Brighton against Everton. This game ended up in a tie, 1-1. We saw a goal from Grubb in the 72nd minute and a goal for Beto in the 90th plus 7 minute. This game, it was a game where Everton rescued a point in the dying seconds of the match through a substitute Beto, and Brighton had dominated and led through Pascal Gropp, first goal since his January return. In this game, David Moyes receives a yellow card for his exuberant celebrations following the late equalizer. Everton, as we know, is missing Jack Grealish, who suffered a broken foot on his own loan from Manchester City. But as we know, he suffered a broken foot injury and faces weeks out, and the squad of Everton has to follow some adjustments. And Grealish, that was being a important piece of this team, now comes down with such injury. Now Everton has to reassess on what they will do with their squad. But then we have a Leeds United against an Arsenal that wins more than comfortably 4-0 as visitors. An Arsenal that saw a goal from Subimendi in the 26th minute, Madueke in the 37th minute, Jokic in the 68th minute, and lastly Gabriel Jesus in the 85th minute. This Arsenal sees both of their forwards scoring, both of their forwards on the score sheet, which is a great thing to see. We have not yet seen these two forwards play in the same time. It's usually a swap for position for position. Both of these forwards get on the score sheet. The Gunners produce a clinical away performance, and Martin Subimendi opened the scoring with a header before Jokic and Gabriel put the game out to reach for the second half. And Arsenal has two highest goal scorers, who are Jokic with 6 goals, Subimendi with 5 goals, and own goals from the clubs they have played. Arsenal has two top goal scorers, Subimendi and Jokic, but the third top score is all the own goals from the teams they have played in this Premier League. Arsenal has been this season taking the nickname of you could say, the set piece merchant. But at the same time, the own goals have been helping and pushing this Arsenal. An Arsenal that moves 6 points clear, while Leeds remains in the mid-table 16th place, and Bukayo Saka, that, as we know, he was not able to play because he shows some discomforts in the warm-up with the growing problem. And Noni Madueke started, and as soon as he came in the game, Nani Madueke was the one who assisted to go for Subimendi on the center, where Subimendi scores the header. So in Madueke, that was effective, and that swap did help Arteta. And at the same time, Arteta said that the extent was unclear immediately after the match for Bukayo Saka. So these next few days, we'll see how bad the injury for Bukayo Saka is, and that's a undisputable player for Arsenal. It's a player that always starts. It's a player that makes a difference for Arsenal. But after all this amount of games playing every 2 days, injuries are prone. Injuries are prone. An Arsenal that is in the first place, a Leeds United that is in the 16th place. Then we have a Wolves against the Bournemouth, a Wolves that lose at home 2-0 against Bournemouth. A goal scorers for Bournemouth were Junior Kropi in the 32nd minute and Alex Scott in the 90th minute. Bournemouth's steady form continues. Junior Kropi's first half goal and late sealer from Alex Scott condemned Wolves to their 18th defeat of the season. And Wolves remain rooted at the bottom of the table with only 8 points. We have a Bournemouth that is in the 12th place and a Wolves that is at the bottom of the table in the 20th place. Wolves are missing Jean Regner and Totti Gomez due to hamstring problems, and Bournemouth is in better shape and earning an away win at Wolves' home. Then moving on, we have a Chelsea against the West Ham United, a Chelsea that won 3-2. For Chelsea, we saw goals from Joao Pedro in the 56th minute and Cucurella in the 69th minute and Enzo Fernandez in the 90th plus 1 minute. Then for West Ham, we saw goals from Bowen in the 6th minute and Somerville in the 35th minute. Liam Rosenau Chelsea's pulled off a stunning second half comeback after being 2-0 down in the first half. And Enzo Fernandez struck deep in stoppage time to seal the win. And Chelsea changed their energy from the first half to the second half with the first two goals and coming from the bench. Matchday had scenes in the last minutes with Cucurella and Joao Pedro becoming memes. For all of those that watched, we see the situation that goes down with um, Adame Toure, and these are things that you don't want to see in football. But hey, some people lose their cool, some people don't even know how to handle their cool. So yes, there's things that happens, and for those that committed such actions, they went punished. Yes, there is a few things that they didn't catch on in this game, but this is part of football. VAR is very contradicting. I believe that if you're going to have a video review assistance, you should be able to watch every detail. And for all those players that commit actions that are punishable, they should be punished. It should not only be certain situations. The assistance is there from the video, so it should be viewed properly, not in a way that only helps whatever team it is. It should be viewed properly, but VAR will always be contradicting because, depending on the fan base and who you support, you will like it, you will not like it. But that's the story with VAR and in this game that had scenes in the last few minutes. And West Ham saw Jean-Claire Todibo that was sent off late in the match due to the whole situation that was going on in the game. He held the player from the neck, and that's a ruling in the Premier League. You cannot do such thing. So he got a red, and he will receive at least a three ban from matches. So he will have to deal with that. And at the same time, the Liam Resonoi has now secured back-to-back comeback wins since taking charge in January, and Lucas Paqueta has officially left West Ham to go back to his Brazilian club. Then moving on, we have a Nuno that Espírito Santo that expressed the frustration after West Ham's collapse in late in the match, and Chelsea that has Jamie Gittins limp of the match against West Ham, and Levi Caldwell and Tosin Araballo and Romeo Levia, they are listed out and doubtful in squad updates. And manager Liam Resonoi is managing rotation with the cup fixtures that are coming up this week. So there's a little bit to work with and see what's the better rotation. He said that he will use his team to the best to make sure that he gives a fight in the upcoming fixtures for the cups. But you have to adapt. You have to adapt your team. You have to make rotations, which is really hard to do, yes. And when injuries come and go and your players, certain positions, you don't have as many depth of choosing who you're going to put there or at least replacement. It gets really hard, but these are decisions that you have to make the best way and see who can perform the best in certain positions. But that's all for that game. Chelsea is currently in the 5th place while West Ham is in the 18th place. Then we have a Liverpool against Newcastle, a Liverpool that won 4-1. A Liverpool that saw goals from Ekitike, a brace in the 40th and then the 42nd minute, and then Wirtz in the 66th minute, and then Konate in the 90th +2 of the complementary time. And Newcastle that saw goal from Gordon in the 35th minute, a game where Newcastle started winning, and despite falling behind to an Anthony Gordon strike, Liverpool, they stormed back. And Hugo Ekitike's quick fire brace before halftime shifted the momentum entirely. Ekitike is a clinical and decisive, simple and straight to the job type of player. And with words that feels like he's starting to be more relevant and effective for Liverpool. Took him a while, but his talent is starting to show. His talent is starting to shine. And when it comes to Liverpool, Their defensive crisis continues. Jeremy Frimpong, Joe Gomez, and Conor Bradley among the absentees, while Konate returned to compassionate leave after match for Konate that returned from a compassionate leave from match 24. And in this game, we saw Konate dedicate his goal to his late father. And Arnold Slot's side remains 6, but narrows the gap to the top 4. And Ekitike, again, very, very clinical, decisive, simple, and straight to the job type of player. In Newcastle, that is missing Bruno Guimaraes due to injury, ankle problem. And this causes for Newcastle to have some defensive reshuffles. But Liverpool reached also an agreement for £60 million for Jacket, the defender that is now player of Liverpool. Liverpool that is in the 6th place, and a Newcastle that is in the 11th place. Then moving on, we have an Aston Villa that was surprised by Brentford. And Aston Villa that lost at home 1-0. Brentford saw goals from Dango Altara in the 45th +2 of the complementary time of the first half. And despite being reduced to 10 men in the 42nd minute after Kevin Shade was sent off, Brentford held for a historic win at Villa Park. And Tammy Abraham, new signing that he was with Aston Villa before, he had a goal ruled out by VAR. And this game ended up 1-0 in favor of Brentford. And this loss is a significant blow for Villa's title hopes, leaving them 1 point below Manchester City. Manchester City, who currently has 47 points, and Aston Villa that has currently 46 points. So this loss puts Aston Villa a point under Manchester City and 7 points away from Arsenal. Then we have a Manchester United against a Fulham, a game that ended 3-2. A Manchester United that play at Old Trafford at home. And Manchester United that saw goals from Casemiro in the 18th minute, Matheus Cunha in the 50th minute, and Benjamin Sesko in the 90th +3 of complementary time. And a Fulham that saw goals from Jimenez in the 84th minute through a penalty, and Kevin in the 90th minute. And in a chaotic finish at Old Trafford, Fulham thought that they had snatched the point with 90th minute equalizer, with only for the substitute Benjamin Sesko to come in and score in the 94th minute, the winner. And Fernandes that has produced the most assists in this Premier League, 12 assists at the moment in this Premier League. And the Manchester United fan base, they have been feeling that Fergie time. They have definitely been feeling that Fergie time. This Manchester United has 3 wins in a row, 3 important wins. Really tough wins. One against Arsenal, one against Manchester United, the top 2, and now against Fulham. Next week for this Manchester United is Tottenham. That will be their 4th game, and then if they are able to win, that will be their 4th win in a row. Carrick is doing wonders. What is Michael Carrick doing? We shall know, because he's doing wonders in this Manchester United that at the beginning started really, really low, but now it's starting to produce and give change and create pressure. A Manchester United that is currently in the 4th place. Matheus Cunha continues in his fine form since the summer move, and 3 wins in a row for Manchester United. You cannot go wrong with 3 wins in a row, with the momentum being picked up. That midfield sees Bruno playing so greatly offensively, Kobe Mainu playing so great in the center mid, with Casemiro, that team is starting to build momentum. Can they hold it? Can they maintain it? Can they nurture it and keep pushing forward? We'll see what Carrick does. But at the moment, this Manchester United is starting to get the wins they need to stay top and play Champions League football for next season. And at the same time, this Manchester United sees that of the field, the unrest continues with some fans that have been protesting the ownership and criticizing the ownership. And despite them being able to pick up some wins and get wins, 3 wins in a row, something that former coach Amorim was not able to do. He was not able to get three more than 3 wins in a row. So Carrick still has something to prove. He still has something to do with this team. But in Manchester United, that the fans are still not satisfied. They're still criticizing the ownership, even though on the field they have been getting the results. They want a better organization in a way. In Manchester United, that also um, has short-term absences, included Patrick Dorgu with a thigh problem and Matthias Delight with the back problem. And Carrick hinted at a late transfer activity, but this transfer window is closed. Next transfer window will be in the summer. This winter's transfer window is officially closed. For some teams, they got some transfers. Other teams were not able to get transfers. Some transfer for certain teams fell through. For certain players, this fell through for medical reasons. But this Manchester United is currently in the 4th place, and we have Fulham that is in the 9th place. Moving on, we have a Nottingham Forest against a Crystal Palace, a game that ended tie 1-1. A Nottingham Forest that saw goals from Whips White in the 6th minute, and Crystal Palace saw goal from Sarr in the 45th +2 through a penalty. A Forest that played more than half the game with 10 men after Nico Williams was sent off for a deliberate handball in the line, and Ismaila Sarr converted the resulting penalty. A Forest that recently signed goalkeeper Stefan Ortega from Manchester City to provide cover from the injured Matt Sells. A Forest that sees an injury on their starting goalkeeper. And at the same time, you have some of the transfer rumors of Crystal Palace and Jean-Philippe Mateta that was omitted from the squad amid the heavy links to deadline day, which was between today and yesterday here in America. But the transfer ended up falling through. Crystal Palace that has been picked in a way of saying like some of their players have been taken away. Little by little, some of their players have been taken away. This one falls through due to Mateta having an injury, knee injury problem, and he did the medical, but it did not go through. So we will see if Crystal Palace reassess the injury, or if it's an actual injury, or if they would just let him recuperate and then bring him back to this Crystal Palace squad. A Nottingham Forest that is currently in the 17th place, and a Crystal Palace that is in the 15th place. Then we move on, and we are in a Tottenham against a Manchester City. This was a great game. This was a great atmosphere, action from both teams. A Tottenham that tied against Manchester City. A Tottenham that saw a brace from Solanke. First goal came in the 52nd minute, and then second goal came in the 69th minute. And in Manchester City, that sees goal from Turkey and a goal from Semenyo in a goal from Turkey in the 10th minute, and a goal from Semenyo in the 43rd minute. A thriller in North London. City led 2-0 at the halftime, but Dominic Solanke inspired Spurs fight back, including a sensational scorpion kick. For all of those that saw that goal, props to Solanke, props to Donnarumma for trying to keep that ball out. but it was just an amazing goal that went from started as nothing and it became something. It went from nothing to something. This something this is something that we'll be seeing as a podcast, uh, a goal that will be in the podcast list. So it's definitely going to be nominated as one of the goals of the season. And if it's not the best goal of the season, it's definitely top two, top five best goal of the season. We don't see these type of goals often. A explanation that even Solanke gave it, that he tried to do something out of nothing. So for those that saw this goal, it was surpriseful. It was one of those goals that you will not see in football often. But Solanke scores a scorpion kick that it already began to be a Puskas contender. And for Man City, the new signings have been showing up, telling him that in this game they show that they can compete, but the inconsistency is getting to them. A Manchester City that played, but they were not able to close this game, and they were not able to seal it for their own sake. A Tottenham that is currently in the 14th place, and a Manchester City that is in the second place. Then we have what Thomas Frank came out with. He urged the fans to create something magic together after the draw against Manchester City. Tottenham can definitely climb up, but they need to win. They have a team, they have talent, they have known players, they have players that have experience, but they are just inconsistent. And inconsistency will do a lot of damage, and injuries will do a lot of damage at the same time. So when you have inconsistency plus injuries, that is just going to create a problem for you to try to solve, and at times problems get out of your hands. But a City draw that allows Arsenal to pull further ahead. A Jeremy Doku that missed the match due to the fresh injury blow, and Tottenham that has a heavy list with James Madison, Mohamed Kudus, Dijon Kulusevski, Ben Davis, and Pedro Porro amongst the absentees. A Frank that warned the squad that a Frank that warned that the squad was weak and by all these January injuries. And Manchester City are missing Ruben Diaz, Josko Gvardiol, John Stones, and Jeremy Doku. They are being sidelined for a few weeks, but some of these players will not be back by the end of the season. But injuries happen. Injuries will always happen, and more when you are playing every 2 days. Moving on, we have the last game of this match day 24. We have a Sunderland against a Burnley. A Sunderland that wins comfortably 3-0. Sunderland that saw goals from Axel Tuanzebe in the 9th minute in an own goal. And then a Sunderland that saw goal from Diarra in the 32nd minute and Toby in the 72nd minute. This was a controlled a game that Sunderland controlled the match through intensity, directness, and clinical finishing. Habib Diarra was the standout performer. Scored once, forced the own goal, and drove the attack. Extended their Sunderland extended their unbeaten home run and climbed to the 8th place in the Premier League table. And a Burnley that had more possessions but not threat, and their winless streak in the Premier League extended to 15 matches, leaving them deep in the relegation zone, and they are in relegation trouble. A Burnley that is currently in the 19th place with only 15 points. This Premier League sees some teams in the bottom struggle. But that's all the games for this Prem. A Arsenal that takes 6-point lead. Manchester City that get held back by Tottenham. And Aston Villa that lose to 10-man Brentford. A Man United that add on Fergie time. Chelsea that flip the game into their favor against West Ham. and a Liverpool that gets strong win against Newcastle to keep on the top 5 race. In this Premier League, we currently see a Arsenal as first place, Manchester City in second place, and Aston Villa as third place, and Manchester United in fourth place, and Chelsea in the fifth place, and Liverpool in the sixth place. And at the bottom of the table, we have West Ham in the 18th place, Burnley in the 19th place, and Wolves in the 20th place. It's going to be really hard for Wolves to come out of this position. Wolves have exactly 14 games left. They have exactly 14 games left. That's a total of 42 points to be able to pick and get out of relegation. But it's looking really hard for Wolves. It's looking like mission impossible. But even mission impossible can become possible. But this is all for this Premier League. A Premier League that still sees an Arsenal at the top. Liverpool trying to get into the top 5. Chelsea that are in the top 5. Manchester United that are in the top 4. And Aston Villa that loses a point to second place. A Aston Villa that gets shocked by Brentford, 10-man Brentford. A Man City that gets held back by Tottenham, and a Arsenal that take a 6-point lead thanks to Tottenham holding Manchester City back. But this is all for this Premier League. Eso es todo por hoy. Gracias por estar aquí conmigo. Esto es Pase Ambidiestro. Ambidiestro es pass. Fútbol honestamente. Soccer football honestly. Thank you for all of those that are here with me. And another day, another week of the beautiful game. Like Patrice Evra says, I love this game. Have a great day. Have a great night. Thank you for all of those that are here with me. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a good one. Thank you.